From its ridiculous name to its tongue-in-cheek characters and senseless plot, Slormancer is an ARPG with a sense of humour. That said, this is no parody. Slormancer goes to great lengths to provide players with a customizable and expressive experience, allowing for some truly intuitive build crafting. But does the actual gameplay hold up to the rest of the experience, or do its RPG systems stand on their own? Before we get to that, head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames where you'll gain Discord access to the greatest indie gaming community. Enjoy early ad-free shows, receive our new podcast 3 days early, get a shout out at the end of every video we produce, and more. But best of all, you'll be supporting indie visibility. Your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. If you've played anything along the lines of Diablo or Grim Dawn, then Slormancer will probably look familiar. It's an ARPG with an emphasis on build crafting, offering 3 unique classes and a diverse array of items, skills, and upgrades. Along with this deep character progression, however, comes the baggage of multiple currencies, plenty of grinding, and a lot of time spent in menus. Slormancer's gameplay is relatively straightforward. In the game, players run through various dungeon environments, exploring relatively basic rooms and battling hordes of enemies. Occasionally, the game is spiced up by a unique objective, a champion enemy, or the rare boss. But for the most part, it is a repetitive and unfortunately monotonous experience. Combat in Slormancer feels great, packed with player feedback that works to make each encounter a satisfying and tactile experience. The only real negative to the player feedback is that it's not too easy to notice when you take damage. I'd have appreciated a clear audio cue or visual effect, but it's a nitpick at most. You'll spend most of your time casting a variety of abilities and working to avoid projectiles and AoE attacks, all while managing your mana. Exploration is unfortunately rather dull, essentially just a mess of rooms scrambled together and packed with repetitive enemy encounters. The occasional new area can be refreshing, but it's a short-lived reprieve. This didn't bother me at first, since I was immediately wrapped up in the combat and, more notably, the RPG systems. Eventually, though, it did get tiresome. Character progression is the clear standout, with deep and intricate RPG systems that work to provide players with opportunities for expression. There's plenty of customization options, with a broad range of potential builds within even one of the 3 classes. Slormancer also allows players to respec their characters for free, offering accessible character customization that rewards experimentation and never punishes mistakes. Slormancer is also a tremendously intuitive experience, with simple controls and a clear user interface that remains readable despite the sheer abundance of information. I found the game to be immediately fun, and it wasn't long before I was clicking through hordes of enemies and customizing my build. Unfortunately, Slormancer falls short with its balancing. Difficulty is of course a subjective matter, but I found Slormancer to provide little to no challenge from the very start. It doesn't take long before enemies are disappearing within 1 or 2 clicks, and many of them are lacking truly threatening attacks. It's a shame, but this eventually led to a lack of excitement. With no real scaling challenge, I didn't need to pay attention to succeed. As a result, I eventually stopped caring about my build entirely. Slormancer's story is clearly not the main reason to play. It's built from tongue-in-cheek character dialogue through a variety of quirky NPCs, and other than its winning sense of humour, is relatively forgettable. But again, the story isn't the selling point here, and it could be argued that a more intensive narrative may take from the rest of the experience. It's a means to an end, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The sound design of Slormancer elevates the combat, providing plenty of meaty, chunky sounds that punctuate each encounter. Furthermore, sound can help to telegraph certain enemy attacks, making the often messy battlegrounds a little easier to navigate. No complaints here. The music is solid, ranging from meandering ambience to dramatic orchestral strings and warlike horns. It suits battle perfectly, though I'd have liked a little more variety here. Slormancer's pixel art is fantastic, offering chunky character designs that stand out in the competent but admittedly repetitive environments. Visual effects are well honed, props stand out, and enemy attacks are easily readable. It's a presentation with a clear sense of direction, offering consistency and clarity above all else. My experience with the game itself was rather smooth, with no bugs or crashes, visual or otherwise. However, I did repeatedly experience a bug when launching the game. Every time I launched Slormancer, regardless of my settings, full screen or not, it opened as a window that, for whatever reason, prevented mouse movement in the bottom half of my screen. I'm not sure how common this bug is or if it was a technical issue, but for anyone that does experience it, holding down the right mouse button fixed this for me, allowing me to use the cursor to enter the bottom half of the window. Changing the resolution and applying the changes allowed me to bring myself back to full screen and continue on with the game. The settings are extensive and allow for plenty of customization, which was appreciated as I found the default settings rather nauseating. Once I'd tinkered with the options for a bit, however, I was able to get the game to suit me just fine. Slormancer is a well-crafted and consistent experience that excels with its expressive build crafting and intuitive gameplay. It's supported by a clear visual style and a satisfying progression system that's easy to grasp, and the game even features a lightweight narrative with some tongue-in-cheek humour. Unfortunately, the game lacks challenge and, therefore, meaningful decision-making. The environments can get repetitive quite quickly, and a lack of enemy diversity or exciting bosses only makes it more monotonous. There's no doubt that certain players are going to happily get lost in the menus and horde-slaying action of Slormancer, but whether or not it's worth it will come down to the individual. Some players may find a challenge here, but I honestly doubt that many will struggle, especially those familiar with the genre. And while difficulty isn't everything, I never felt like I needed to solve any problems, and that's where my real issue lies. However, the extensive options for crafting builds allows for genuine expression that some may enjoy in of itself. There's no denying that the progression system is well crafted, and the ability to easily change and customize builds is freeing. Players that aren't looking for a challenge, that are happy to sit and craft an even better build regardless of the need to, are perhaps the ones that will get the most out of Slormancer. Regardless, I must say that while each of Slormancer's parts are well crafted, there's some leaves something to be desired, but it still offers a good few hours of fun that are sure to extend further for die-hard ARPG fans who don't mind the lack of challenge. As a result, Slormancer earns itself a bronze genie lamp of approval.
For far too long, you, the gamer, have been denied honest gaming coverage. Indie developers and publishers have lost their voice, but no longer. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames to join this epic campaign for indie visibility. The echo chamber trembles as our message grows louder. Voice to the voiceless!